Hey, this is Math Minutes Pro with Dr. Harrison. And today we're going to talk about the law of cosines. All right, you see a lot of information on here. This topic usually comes up either in Algebra 2, Pre-calculus, Trig. But I'm going to show you how to think through this problem. I'm going to explain everything on the board. And we're going to do just fine with this problem, okay? Let's first talk about the information above. So, law of cosines is where you're given several equations in reference to a triangle. And what we're looking at is the relationship between angles and sides of the triangle, okay? And you see three different equations that expresses the relationship between angles and sides of the triangle. And in fact, we're going to look because there are patterns. Usually you have to memorize these three, but if you know the pattern, you can know how to write each of the three. The way it works is we're going to examine this problem, and we're going to have to choose one of the three equations that will allow us to find the length of AB. So here we have angle A, this is angle B, and this is angle C. They are labeled with capital letters. The side that is opposite angle B is lowercase b. That's the side length, also equal to side AC. The side length that is opposite angle A, capital A, is represented as lowercase a. Lowercase a is also equal to side length BC. And then this side length, lowercase c, is opposite angle C. Lowercase c is equal to side length AB. So when this problem says find the length of AB, they're also asking you to find the length of lowercase c. Now let's come over here. So we have a squared equals b squared plus c squared. Kind of reminds you of the Pythagorean theorem, huh? All right. But we're looking at, in this case, it says we have, and these are referring to side lengths right here. Notice they're lowercase letters. So a squared equals b squared plus c squared, right? Minus 2 times b times c, just like we have b and c here, times cosine of angle A, just like you start with side length A. Let's see if we see the pattern in the second equation. B squared equals a squared plus c squared, all right? Minus 2 times AC, just like we have AC here, times cosine of angle B, just like we start with side length B here. And then c squared equals a squared plus b squared, which you're probably familiar with, the formula for the Pythagorean theorem, minus 2 times a times b, like we have a and b here, times cosine angle C, where we started with side length C, squaring it. All right, so let's look. We're given a triangle ABC, and we know that angle C angle CBA is equal to 41 degrees. We know that this side length BC is equal to 29. We don't have the units there. And side length CA is equal to 13. So let's start marking up the picture based on what's given. If this is angle C, then this is lowercase c, just like up there. If this is angle A, then 29 is lowercase a. All right. And if this is angle B, then this side 13 is equal to lowercase b. All right. So we've marked it up. Now, let's examine this a little more closely so that we can determine which of these three equations will we use to find the length of AB, which is C. Okay. Notice we're given angle C right? So far, we're looking at angle C, and we are given side length A and side length B. So which of the three has it where we're given side length A and B and the measure of angle C? We have side length A and B and the measure of angle C, but we need to find A times B. So, looks like the one we're going to use, I'm going to place a check by it. We're going to use this. I put a check by it. We're going to use that equation to find, because we know what we need. Let's see here. We need to find the length of AB, which is C. We know what A is. We know what B is. We know what A times B is. We can multiply that. We know what cosine of C is. We can find that because we know angle C. So we should be able to manipulate this equation and solve for segment length AB, also known as C. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. So I am going to copy this equation down here below. Again, that's the first thing we're going to do. And then we're going to substitute. So we have C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2 times A times B times cosine of angle C. And you always want to make sure you copy everything correctly. So I'm just going to pause for a moment and look. Looking pretty good. Now let's go ahead and start substituting. But before we do that, let's go ahead and down here I'm going to write what everything is equal to. Okay? Before we go ahead and substitute. That makes the math a little easier. So we avoid cognitive overload. So we know that C is equal to segment AB right here. We know that A equals 29. Good. We know that B equals 13. And when we cosine of C is equal to cosine of 41. Very good. All right, so I think I'm going to rewrite that because I want to have it all on one line. So we know that cosine of C equals cosine of 41. There we go. All right, we're ready to substitute now. So let's begin. Well, we don't know what C squared is because we're trying to find, we don't know what C is. We're trying to solve for C. So I'm just going to bring that down, bring the equal sign down. And A squared, A is 29. So we write 29 squared plus, okay, B squared, B is equal to 13. So we write 13 squared minus 2 times A times B. So that's 2 times 29 times 13. 2 times 29 times 13 times cosine. Cosine of what? 41. Because angle C is equal to 41. Very good. Now let's just go ahead and evaluate. All right. 29 squared gives us 841 plus 13 squared gives us 169 minus 2 times 29 times 13. If you multiply those three numbers, you're going to get 754. 754, right? Times cosine 41. I'll go ahead and drop the parentheses We're not ready to deal with that trigonometric function cosine yet. All right. So we take a look at this and we remember PEMDAS. I don't know if you remember PEMDAS, right? So we have terms. So terms are separated by addition and subtraction. So we have 1, 2, and 3 terms. So I'm going to circle the third term just so that we're clear on that. This is the third term here. Terms are separated by addition and subtraction. Okay, and you apply PEMDAS to each term, right? And this is a term, and this is a term. So there's nothing really to do to the first 2 terms, so we're just going to bring that down. 841 plus 169. Well, actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and add those numbers so that I don't have to write an extra step. So let me do that. We can go ahead and combine these 2 numbers. So let's go ahead and do that. 841 plus 169, we get 1,010. Okay, minus. So use your calculator and you're going to multiply 754 times cosine of 41. So I have a graphing calculator here. All right, so I'm going to first enter cosine of 41, right? Close it, and then I get a value, a decimal, 0.754709 something. And then I hit times what? 754. When I do that, I get 569.05. So I'm just going to round that to 569. Look at that. Now it's looking very simple. All right. All right. Let's remember it's all c squared. And then what we get is we get c squared equals, so 1010 minus 569, we get 441. All right. So I'm going to rewrite this again because we want to undo c squared. And to do that, we have to take the square root of both sides. So I'm going to write this again. C squared equals 441. We're going to take the square root of both sides of this equation, just like when you're solving a Pythagorean theorem problem. And then that undoes that in c squared. And then what you get, I'm going to draw an arrow. You get c equals, the square root of 441 is 21, right? Now we remember, they wanted us to find the length of AB. And we know that C is equal to AB. Therefore, the 3 dots, the length of AB equals 21. And I say, voila. Very nice. Okay. All right. Well, I am definitely going to encourage you to watch this video as many times as you need so that you can walk through how to make your math neat and you know what you're doing. All right. You start off by making sure that you have your 3 equations for the law of cosines. Do not confuse this with the law of sines. All right. And you look at what's given, find out what they want you to find, mark up your picture, right? Identify the variables, set what they're equal to. All right. Based on what's given, you decide which equation do you need. We're going to use. We selected it with the check mark here. And then you write that equation again. You substitute, right? Use your order of operations, what you know, pre-algebra skills. And then you get your final answer. AB equals 21. Whew. So thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out my Patreon page on my video description below. On my Patreon page, you can get access to exclusive math lessons, study tips, live Q&A, and more. See you next time.